"Step back, old man, or you're next." That's what one of them said just before they tased my wife. They aimed their weapons at me next. I didn't yell. I didn't run. I just looked at their commander and said 5 words. "Call General Rohr right now." And that's when the SWAT team froze. If 5 words can stop trained men in their tracks, type respect for those who never stop serving. The neighbors on Oakwood Drive knew Roy Tanner as the man who could fix anything with an engine. His garage doors were usually open on weekends, tools clinking and classic rock fading into the calm suburban air. At 68, the tremors in his hands came and went, but the knowledge stored in those calloused fingers never failed him. Most people knew him as the helpful neighbor who repaired lawnmowers for free and never missed a community pancake breakfast. Before the truth comes out, what do you think Roy once was? Comment below what the neighborhood didn't know. Roy had survived 27 years of silent service in places that didn't exist on maps. He fought in missions without names, came home with scars no one could see, and packed medals into a shoebox instead of hanging them on walls. He had no interest in parades. He preferred to be known for rebuilt carburetors, not classified operations. Only Linda knew everything. She stood by him through nightmares, broken sleep, silent guilt that came home wearing a uniform. 4 decades together, marked by deployments, years spent waiting, and difficult steps toward becoming a civilian again. Their little ranch-style home became a sanctuary filled with small, ordinary miracles, morning coffee, gardening, and laughter that replaced the echoes of war. Roy volunteered at the VFW, built wheelchair ramps for vets, taught auto shop to teens. Other teachers had given up on. That Wednesday afternoon was normal. Roy lay under Mrs. Henderson's old Buick changing the oil. Linda had gone to the grocery store for senior discount day. The September air smelled like changing leaves. Then came the screech of tires, aggressive, invasive. Roy slid out from under the Buick just as the first black SUV blocked his driveway. Then another and another. Doors flew open, shouting tore apart the stillness. "Police, on the ground now!" Armed officers in tactical gear stormed forward, weapons raised. Roy raised his hands slowly, engine grease on his fingers, and stood very still. "There's some miss—" A rifle barrel jabbed him silent. Concrete scraped his cheek as they zip-tied his wrists. Radios crackled, boots thundered, commands overlapped. Someone yelled, "Secure the house!" Linda's sedan turned into the driveway. She stepped out, groceries in hand, eyes wide. "Roy, what's—" 3 rifles snapped toward her. "Drop the bags, hands up!" She froze. Fear and confusion tangled in her voice. "She's not complying," a young officer shouted, adrenaline surging. "I said hands up!" Her arthritic hands couldn't move fast enough. Taser fired. Linda's body jerked violently and collapsed. Groceries burst across the driveway. Eggs cracked, milk pouring over concrete, apples rolling under armored boots. Roy felt a controlled rage he hadn't unleashed in decades. He spoke with the calm authority of someone who had commanded teams in the dark corners of the world. "Let me up." The SWAT commander turned toward him, hesitating. Something in Roy's voice wasn't fear, it was command. Roy rose, still bound, his eyes locked on the commander. "Call General Rohr right now." The team froze, confusion bleeding into caution. The younger officer scoffed. "We're executing a warrant on Carlos Mendez. Save the military name-dropping. This area is crawling with—" Roy cut him off. "This is Oakwood Drive. You want Oakwood Avenue. Different zip code entirely." Silence. "Also, I need to get to my wife. She has a heart condition." A check of the address began. Another searched Roy's jacket when instructed. He found a small metallic badge, Black Eagle insignia, a classification most law enforcement had only heard rumors about. Black protocol clearance. Everything stopped. The medic rushed to Linda. Restraints were cut. Officers stepped back, suddenly recognizing danger of a different kind, the danger of having severely wronged the wrong man. "You executed a warrant on the wrong house," Roy said, supporting Linda. "You escalated without verifying anything. You used excessive force on a senior citizen holding groceries." Across the street, a neighbor recorded everything on his phone inside the house. Linda recovered on the sofa. Roy never left her side. Outside, the SWAT team hovered in shame and fear. Calls were being made, mistakes documented, panic rising behind practiced stoicism. 40 minutes later, a black SUV with government plates arrived quietly. Out stepped General James Rohr. No uniform, just a charcoal suit and the unmistakable posture of command. He approached the doorway. For a moment, the two men stared. Years of battlefields and buried history living in the silence. General Rohr raised his hand in a sharp salute. Roy returned it, his first salute in years. "I thought you were dead," Rohr said. Roy answered, "Only professionally." The general's jaw tightened as he looked toward Linda. Turning to the SWAT team, his voice sharpened into steel. "This man wrote the protocols you just violated." The older tactical officer paled. He recognized the name. "Tanner? R.J. Tanner? You wrote the Civilian Engagement Handbook, the one we studied in advanced training." General Rohr didn't slow down. "You didn't detain a suspect today. You humiliated a national asset, a man whose operational experience outweighs your entire command combined." The young officer who fired the taser was ordered to surrender his weapon, vest, and badge. His career collapsed at his feet. General Rohr turned back to Roy, handing him a sealed envelope. "A formal apology and reinstatement of your clearances. The world hasn't gotten safer. We need you back." Roy looked at Linda before responding. "My duty is here now. She's my mission." Rohr swallowed and nodded. He placed the envelope on the railing. "The offer stands." Then he left, the SWAT team shrinking as he passed. The following week, a press conference introduced what the police chief called the 5 Words Protocol, new mandatory training for respect and de-escalation. They never named Roy or Linda. They didn't have to. The video had already spread everywhere. Linda healed slowly. The physical pain faded quicker than the memory, yet she held her head higher now, refusing to be diminished by anyone. Patrol cars paused when passing the Tanner house. Officers saluted Roy on his morning walks. Unmarked SUVs left quiet gifts, books, good whiskey, photos from missions he wasn't supposed to exist in. 3 months later, a rookie officer's cruiser stalled near Roy's house. Roy appeared with a toolbox before the officer even opened the hood. "Sir," the rookie finally asked, "why didn't you ruin those men's careers? You could have." Roy tightened a bolt and answered, "Revenge doesn't fix engines." He paused, "and it doesn't fix people either." The cruiser roared back to life. At the VFW days later, a reporter pressed a microphone toward him. "Why didn't you fight back when they attacked your wife? You had the training. You had every right. Why 5 words?" Roy looked into the camera, calm, unshaken. "Because 5 words were louder than fear. And sometimes the strongest position isn't standing over someone, it's standing your ground." He walked away, back to his truck, back to being just a man who fixes things, a builder instead of a weapon, a protector who didn't need a uniform to be dangerous. Some heroes don't need medals, some heroes don't need noise, some heroes only need 5 words. Subscribe to Steel Heart Stories if you believe real power speaks quietly.